Hey guys, it's Mrs. Levet, and today we're going to be making the Grinch and Max, the Grinch's dog. So go get your paper, your pencil, your crayons, your markers, or something to color with, and let's get started. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get a piece of paper. Now the great thing about this is it doesn't matter if you've ripped it out of your sketchbook. We can always trim that later. So I'm going to fold this, and I can do one of two things. I can make this a card, or I can open it up and I can have the Grinch on one side and Max on the other. It's totally up to you what you want to do. All right, so here we go. So the first thing I'm going to draw is the Grinch, because I think the Grinch is much easier to draw than Max. So to do the Grinch, I'm going to start with my pencil. Now, I want you to start with your pencil, but I am going to be using a marker because I think it's easier to see on film. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center of my page, and I'm going to put a little line. And if you want to do that in pencil, a little dot, it doesn't really matter. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a U. And I'm going to do U's all the way across, or they're little smile lines. So I'm just doing little smile lines like this. And then you can make it all the way across. If you want to make your Grinch smaller, you'll make a smaller amount. I'm going to make my Grinch pretty big. He's going to fill this whole space. Then I'm going to go and do bumps on the top. This is the fuzzy part of a Santa hat is what I'm making. Now I'm going to find the center, and I'm going to come down. And then over here, I'm going to come down as well, but I'm not going to come all the way down. I'm going to come back in just a little ways, and I'm going to do it like that, and then I'm going to do my little line. So that's my folded Santa hat. And you can put a fuzzball or a circle. I'm doing a circle and an X. That's going to be my jingle bell. And if you put little dots on the end of your X, it really does look like a jingle bell. All right, and I will color that yellow later. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down just a little bit on either side. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to make 3 or 4 zigzaggy lines or zigzaggy points on my line. So that's my Grinch's cheeks. Then I'm going to find that center again, and I'm going to put a dot. And I'm going to, from that dot, I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to go up. Find the center of your face and make an oval. And if I'm going too fast, you can pause this video at any time. Now I'm going to come down, but not all the way to that point. Stop before you get to that point. I'm going to go up and up. This is his smile. And then I do a frown and a frown on either side of his mouth. We're almost done. Now I'm going to come and make a diagonal line here and a diagonal line here. These are going to be the Grinch's eyes. These kind of look like grumpy eyebrows. I'm going to do a U and another U. And then I'm going to do my circle eye and my circle eye. And I'm coloring that in black. If you want to leave it like that, a lot of times that you'll see that for Dr. Seuss. I'm coloring mine all the way in, but that's up to you. Then I'm going to take my black marker or black crayon, whichever one you want, and I'm going to do a scribbly eyebrow. And then I like to do 3 little wrinkle lines. Now I'm going to come down, and I'm going to do 2 lines for his neck and a curve. And then I'm going to do that same bumpy line. Bumpy line, bumpy line. And then I'm going to do a line here for his shoulder and a line there for his shoulder. And there's my Grinch. Now, when I color my Grinch, I color his hat red. And I'm just going to outline this and not let you waste your time watching me color. But I'm going to outline where I would want to color. So there's that. And then down here for his shoulders. And I prefer to use a crayon for his skin because the Grinch is fuzzy. And so when I color him, I want him to be fuzzy. And I will use my yellow-green crayon, although I used a regular green crayon here. So I'm going to color him in. And I like to do his eyes yellow. I do know that some kids like to do his eyes red because I believe there's part of the movie he does have a red eye or red eyes. So I'm doing this for my Grinch, and I'm just coloring in his face. And again, you can go back and color in the red later. And you'll see why I haven't done that yet, because I'm going to show you something else really quick. So I've colored him in, and I'm getting that nice, I'm using the flat part of my crayon, and I'm really doing my best to get that texture for him. All right, so there he is. So now I'm going to add a candy cane. So I'm going to flip this upside down, and I'm going to draw a J. And then I'm going to repeat that J. Actually, I'm going to make this a little bit longer. So I've got the J, and then I'm going to flip it back around. And then I'm going to draw 3 berries. And I'm going to add a brown, sorry, my crayon is very tiny. It's hard for me to pick up. I'm going to draw 2 or 3 lines there. And then I'm going to add some pine. And I'm just adding little lines around my branches of pine. And then, of course, you can color in your berries. And you can stripe your candy cane. And I actually like to stripe my candy cane red and green, because I think it gives it a little bit more color by doing it red and green. And that's how I do my Grinch. Of course, I can color in, you know, this for the red. Now that I've done my candy cane, I can do that. Do not forget that you need to do the eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a yellow crayon, and I'm going to color in my Jingle Bell part of my hat as well as my eyes. And my marker is drying up, but it is still working, so I'm going to use it all up. All right, so for my eyes, I'm using this yellow crayon. And this is actually dandelion. I've done yellow, I've done dandelion. It doesn't really matter, just a yellow of any sort. And then my Jingle Bell is yellow. And there you have it. There's the Grinch. So now I'm going to do Max. So I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to make Max. So Max the dog, and I'm going to show you how to make his collar or a collar scarf. So you can do it either way, and I'm going to tell you how you can change it. So I'm going to find the center of my paper, and I'm going to put a dot. That is going to help me know exactly where I want Max's mouth to be. So right above that dot, I'm going to make an oval, and that's Max's nose, and then I'm going to make a curved mouth. And I'm going to go up and up, and then do the little frown on the bottom. Now, right where I stopped and I went up, I'm going to come around here, and I'm going to curve it and stop halfway, and do it again, curve it and stop halfway. Now I'm going to create an arch over top. So this is my arch for my Max. And then I'm going to do 2 ovals for Max's eyes. And then you do your little circles for his black part of his eyeball. And he has some wrinkles over his nose. And my favorite part of Max is he has these adorable little eyebrows on the side. Now I'm going to make Max's ears. So I'm going to come right about where his eyebrows are, and I'm going to make 2 little lines on either side. All right. These lines are going to come down, and it's going to get bigger. So I'm going to come down, I'm going to curve it, and as I come back up, I want to make it smaller. All right. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Curve it. And then I like to draw a wrinkle in his ear. Now I'm going to come down and make his neck. You can make this go up a little bit if you want to. I'm going to make his neck and then a curve right there. On either side of that curve, I'm going to do a little loop. Now I'm going to come straight down, straight down. Now if you want this to be a collar, you are going to do a circle, a little loop. You could also make this a Christmas ornament, and I write his name, M-A-X, right inside, and then I'm going to curve this. If you don't want to do this as a collar, don't put that. You don't have to have that. Now I'm going to make the scarf. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do some 2 lines with a zigzag on the end, and then I'm going to do another line with a zigzag on the end, and there's my scarf, which I think is adorable. I'm going to come down to the bottom and down to the bottom. It's a little bit of a curve, and then there's 2 lines, and there you have it. There's Max. But I always think Max needs a tail, so I'm going to add a tail. And Max is off the page, so you don't see his feet, but you could always add his feet if you want. And then I like to make his tail wag, so I usually do a couple of lines. Now, this is my regular Max. If you wanted to put a Santa hat on him, you could do it just like we did the Grinch, where you do the loops, and then you do the triangle hat. But I'm going to do Max's antler. And remember, the Grinch tied this onto Max's head. So I'm going to start with the headband, and then I'm going to take this and turn it slightly sideways, and I'm going to make a C. On the end of this C, I'm going to put 2 lumps, like I made an M. I don't know if you can see that. I made an M. And then I'm going to swoop it back around like this. Now, I can't erase, but I'm not going to worry about that. I can't erase, but you can erase. I'm going to turn those lines into the bow that Dr. Seuss drew to make the Grinch tying this on his head. Now I'm going to add some Christmas balls. So I'm going to add a little square anywhere I think a Christmas ball would look good. I don't want to put too many. 3 or 5 are usually good. I think 3 works most of the time, but I'm going to go ahead and do 5 today. And I've got my Christmas balls. And there I have my Max. And when I go to color him, I'm going to use a light pressure on my brown crayon, and then I'm going to use heavy pressure on the ears and the nose. You can do this with markers, but I think the crayon works best for his fur. I'm going to quickly show you how to write the Grinch's name in a fancy font. So I'm going to use a capital alphabet. And I'm writing the Grinch, capital T-H-E. And then over here, I'm going to turn it and I'm going to write G-R-I-N-C-H. On the side of every straight letter, so this is a straight letter, all of these except for the G and the C are straight, I'm going to put a rectangle. And I'm always going to do it on the left side. Notice I skipped the G. And I'm going to skip the H, excuse me, not the H, the C, and go straight to the H. And now I'm going to do a curve along the side, the left side of the G and the left side of the C. And then you can make patterned letters. You can color them in, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to do every other letter, red and then green. And I'm going to see how cute this is going to look when I'm done. So I hope you enjoyed that, making the Grinch and Max today, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Have a great day. Bye.